since I've done a tag video, and this one I've seen pop up time after time again, and I've wanted to do it, but then looking at the questions on it, I really didn't know how to answer the last one on it, so I just scrapped the idea. But after seeing my friend Carrie's video and her answers, especially for that last one, I'm like, I know how to answer it finally, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this. So this is the Get to Know Me tag, 2018 edition, I suppose. If it turns out I did do this in the past and forgot, then apparently I'm just stupid. But I don't think I did, so I'm gonna do it today. There are 16 questions. It may take me way longer than 16 minutes to answer them all, so hopefully you'll be patient with me. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and get right into this. I realize how ludicrous it is that I'm doing a Get to Know Me tag after like 1,500 videos on this channel. I'm pretty sure you guys know me pretty well at this point. A lot of these you could probably answer already for me, but anyway. So, question number 1. Are you named after anyone? I am named after a lot of someone's and was almost named after something else too. Originally, the name that ended up becoming my middle name was supposed to be my first name if my mom had had her way. She wanted my first name to be Michelle, and yes, after the Beatles song, because she was a huge fan, and hoped that her firstborn would also be a huge fan. Little did she know that her efforts worked too well to where my fandom eclipsed her fandom and kind of a little bit ruined it for her because I burned her out on them so badly. But, yeah, she wanted my first name to be Michelle after the song with the same title. But my dad was like, no, I want my firstborn to have my initials. So JMA it is. So she was like, okay, I can work with that. Jude Michelle. And he was like, no, that's my confirmation name. Don't use Jude. Fine. So they kicked around a bunch of names. But yeah, that's kind of cool to hear that my name originally was going to be Jude Michelle. I'm like, why didn't you go with that? Can I legally change my name to that, please? Would you be mad if I did? Because I kind of want to. But, I'd still have the same initials. But anyways, so they kicked around names and eventually settled on the stupidly most popular name of the 80s, Jennifer. Because freaking everyone was named Jennifer in the 80s, but there was a lot of places they drew this one from. Apparently there was like some soap opera character named Jennifer or Jenny or something that they both watched and liked the name of. I don't even know which soap opera it's from, gonna be honest. It's kind of funny because to this day my dad still watches soap operas. I don't know if he still watches whatever one that name came from. If it weren't like 5 in the morning right now, I'd go downstairs and ask him, hey, which soap opera was it that you said my first name came from? I would go ask him, but he is definitely asleep. I already woke him up once to go get my coffee, but yeah, because I got up at like 4:30. But anyway, so that was one inspiration of it. My mom's stupid favorite movie, Love Story. I'm sorry, I do not share the enthusiasm for that film. I think it's horrible acting, and I even told her so at like 5 years old that I think these people don't know how to act, and she got really mad at me. But, yeah, apparently the female lead in that was named Jennifer. She dies, though, so good job naming me after a character who literally dies, but I'm sorry, that movie, love is never having to say you're sorry, bullshit. Actually, it's funny, because my boyfriend and I were just talking about exactly this, like, a few days ago, and how freaking stupid that is, and that is, like, an horribly incorrect statement, because if anything, love is saying you're sorry all the damn time, but anyway, yeah, no, so apparently that was another inspiration of where it came from. There's a few that hit close to my heart of where they came from because I approve of these. Apparently one of them is after the movie 10. Bo Derek's character's name is Jenny. And both my parents freaking adore that film. At this point, so do I, because I'm a Dudley Moore fan, so it's just like, that's ironic. That's very ironic. So, okay, that was another one. I at least don't mind that one. That one I'm cool with. There was also the show Family Ties that came out a couple years before I was born and was still on the air when I was born. The youngest sister on that show was named Jennifer. irony of ironies that I grew up loving that freaking show, but I actually incidentally hated that character. I still hate that character. I like Mallory. Obviously, I love Michael J. Fox, so Alex P. Keaton. I kind of am the female Alex P. Keaton, but no, like for real. Apparently, that was another Jennifer I got named after. I'm just like, that's okay. That's fitting. Oh, what were some of the other ones? There was more of them too. I'm just like, they've rattled them all off for me before, but there was just like a bunch of places to where they were just like, why not go with that? We love all of these. Why not use that name? I'm just like, oh, okay. And I think I asked one time, was the girlfriend in Back to the Future one of them? They're like, no, that movie came out the year you were born, but not till after you were born. So, yeah, can't claim credit on that one, but yeah, I was hopeful, but no. When I thought about it, it's like, oh yeah, I guess I was born like 1 week into that year, and that movie didn't come out till later in the year, so oops. But yeah, so can't claim credit on that one. But the others I can, but shit, what were some of the other ones? I know for a fact there was more, and I'm just they're gone. But anyway, yeah, so there's a bunch of them that went into it. I just can't off the top of my head remember them all, but at least two of them I'm cool with, but kind of really sort of really wish they'd gone with the original name my mom wanted for me. Either of the two original names she wanted for me, really. Because I would have been cool with Michelle being my first name, but Jude Michelle's even better, and yeah, I definitely would not complain, but oh well. So, next question, since I've babbled on for almost 7 minutes on the first one. Where are you from? I think enough of you guys already know this answer to where it doesn't even matter. I'm from Castro Valley, California. It's in the Bay Area. It's about an hour away from San Francisco. Maybe like 20 minutes away from Oakland, which, yeah, that does not say good things for this area. It's nicer than Oakland here, but we do have people trickling in from there that are kind of starting to ruin the area. Just saying that is as far as I will go into that. So, because otherwise I feel like I'm gonna put my foot in my mouth and say some things that will piss a lot of people off, so I'm just not gonna go there. Number 3, which of your parents are you most like? Ooh, it depends on how you mean it. Appearance-wise, apparently it's kind of a split. Because all growing up, my entire childhood, all I heard all growing up is, you look just like your dad. And I still think I do. And I still get that comment from time to time of people, especially from people who knew my dad when he was young or when he was a kid. Yeah, I've even seen pictures of my dad when he was like 13. Apparently, when I have my hair short, I look identical to how my dad did when he was like 13. Just shorter. So I very, very much look like my dad. But that said, when I grow my hair longer, I start hearing from people, oh, you look like your mom. And I'm like, no, I don't. But there have been a few times, few and far between, where all of a sudden I see a glimmer of it and I'm like, I guess I could see that. I feel like my face shape has like gotten longer and a little bit narrower over time, and I feel like when my hair is longer, it makes it give the effect that it's narrower and more angular than it is. So, with that in mind, I kind of have her hair texture as well. So, between that and the fact that it kind of fakes my face shape into looking more narrow and more angular, I guess I kind of sort of see where they're coming from. But I don't look that much like her. I definitely don't have her nose. I very unfortunately got my dad's nose. I have my dad's eyes. Lip shape might be my mom's. I'd have to actually look at photos to compare, because honestly, I don't know off the top of my head, but I think that actually might be hers. I think chin shape might be hers. Eyebrows, I don't really know. But overall, I think I look more like my dad, and a lot of people think I look more like my dad. So there's that. In terms of health problems, I take after my mom, though. She had very unfortunate luck of inheriting, like, every possible bad genetic disposition trait she possibly could in her family, and I seem to have inherited that from her, so in that sense, I take after my mom on every possible freaking level. I got her bad heart, I got her bad teeth, I got her bad immune system, I got her bad lungs, I got her just... Yeah, there's a lot of things where I very much took after her. Oh, one more comparison to my dad. Skin tone, I take after my dad, because he's very, very pale. I take after my dad. My mom's skin tone, a bit more European, darker olive toned. Yeah, I take after my dad. So, yeah, I pretty much got the Irish skin. Because on his side, well, on mom's side, I have like mostly Italian and a teeny bit of Swedish and a tiny bit of like Czechoslovakian. On my dad's side, I have like basically the rest of Europe minus Portugal and Spain. So there's that. So I think I got the Irish complexion though, because my grandma's dad was Irish and she also had the very, very pale skin tone. So in that respect, yeah, there's that. Personality wise, kind of a mix of both. I would say I got my mom's dirty sense of humor, but my dad has that too, so that's kind of both. But the smartass streak that I've got, I definitely take after my dad. And just the kind of screwing with people's heads because I find it funny, I take after my dad. But the extremely over the top emotional streak I get from my mom, so it's kind of little column A, little column B, but yeah, what else can I compare? I don't know. Hoarder tendencies came from both of them. Let's see what else. Musically, I mean, I take more after my dad. Artistically, I take more after my mom, although I've seen some of my dad's drawings. I guess I kind of get that from both sides, come to think of it. But yeah, I can't think of anything else to compare, so kind of both, but I think if I had to pick one over the other, I think I'm more like my dad. Number 4, what is your favorite food? I've answered this how many times over? You guys can already answer this. You know I love my fettuccine alfredo. You know I adore it. If pesto's thrown in, that's just bonus points, but it has to be good pesto. If it's bad pesto, then I want no part of it. But same with it just being fettuccine alfredo in the first place. If they use like cheap Parmesan cheese, it's disgusting. But if you make it good with like fresh ingredients, it's like the most magical thing in the world. So yeah, there's that. Okay, what is your favorite pastime? I have a lot of favorite pastimes. Come on, guys, you know this too. You know that I'm a writer. I like to draw. I play instruments. I play guitar. I play ukulele. I kind of sort of play piano. I haven't played it in a long time, but that is one of my goals this year since I never got on top of it last year like I wanted to. I want to try and get back into that this year too. I read, I knit, I crochet, I do I do a lot of things. So I collect, what else do I do, guys? I dabble with photography, I play video games, I do a lot of shit. I try to make money at all of them, in some capacity. So, what is your favorite childhood memory? That one is also kind of a poser. I'm not sure I can just pin down one. But my gut instinct like wants to go to just about anything involving my pony Shorty that I had when I was little. He was my best friend, which sounds so stupid. I realize it sounds freaking retarded. But as a kid who grew up with like no friends outside of my family, basically I considered that pony to be my best friend. I am not even joking. And the day that he got taken away was literally the worst day of my entire life, hands down. So, there's that. But everything other than that involving him, probably favorite thing ever. I still to this day see a pony that looks too much like him, I will burst out in tears just immediately because I still miss him. I'm almost doing it right now, but I think I actually have a picture of him up on my bookcase. Hold on, yeah, I do. Hold on. I do, right here. Keep him nearby all the time in some capacity with little bitty me. You guys can see, that was my Shorty, and I loved him. He was a good boy. He was old by the time I had him anyway. No, he wasn't taken away because he died or anything. It was a long, involved drama. Just nobody warned me that it was coming. So I had no time to emotionally prepare for that, and it was incredibly traumatizing. But everything, not including that day that involved him, was freaking wonderful. And a lot of my childhood was spent at the barn, or riding him, or on the trails with the pony cart, riding that. Just, I loved that freaking pony so damn much. And it's not like it was the only one I ever had. My grandparents tried to replace the hole in my heart with other ones, just none of them were anything like him. He was one of a kind. It's kind of like with cats or dogs. There's like one really special one in your life. You'll have like others, but there's only the one that's like the one. He was that one. So, and I tried with like full grown horses. It wasn't the same. It wasn't the same. That was the one. But he was just so good. Like most ponies, this is gonna sound like such a dick thing to say, but most ponies are assholes, okay? But he was not. He was so good natured on like every possible level, so well trained and everything. He was so good. Most ponies have a bad attitude, alright? And I realize most of you did not grow up with horses, so you're probably like, geez, Jen, like, why the sour grapes? But, like, no, for real, most ponies have bad attitudes. That's not to say the same of horses, but ponies specifically. I don't know if they have a Napoleon complex or what their deal is, but most of them are little shits. And, by the time they make it to, like, petting zoos or anything, like, they've basically broken their spirit to the point where they're docile, but by nature, they're kind of assholes. So to find one that's not is like finding a needle in a haystack. That's why he was so special. Now, full-grown horses, you don't see that problem as much just by their nature, but the little ones, yeah, that's very much a thing. But yeah, so that'd be one answer I could give. Part of me wants to say my first trip to Disneyland, which is a very cliche thing to throw out there. Part of me even wants to say one of my trips to the local county fair, but it was only like specifically that one day that was so good and everything was just with my dad. I'd gone to plenty of other times where I was like, this is kind of stupid, but no, that day was great. I've been since then as an adult and been like, why did I love this so much as a kid? This is dirty and gross. I don't understand. But no, just that one day was a really, just generally great day, and I still think fondly of that one day. What else? Yeah, like I said, it's hard to, like, pinpoint specific favorite childhood memories, because, I mean, there's lots of them that, like, for various reasons I could throw out there, but trying to pick a singular one, I don't know that I can pick a singular one. So, okay, what is your favorite snack? Well, you know, I'm kind of a junk food addict, especially when it comes to chocolate things, so there's that. I used to really, really adore Peachios, and probably still do, but with the current dental situation going on, I don't dare, because I feel like all it would take is one misstep with a gummy candy, and that one back there that needs to be worked on would just be gone. So I have not touched them in a few years, and it hurts my soul a little bit, but until that is dealt with, I don't freaking dare. I have not even chewed gum because I'm so scared of this guy over here till it gets dealt with. Either if it's savable, if they, like, recrown it, or if it has to go. Whichever it's gotta be. Right now, I'm just like, I'm too scared to do it, so. But, if that weren't the situation, Peachios would probably be the answer, but since I can't eat those, it's probably just gone down to just general chocolatiness. Certain potato chips, but I'm very picky on that. Cause, like, oh, which ones? I think they're the barbecue lays, I want to say. Those are good, but not all the time. I have to be in the right mood for them. Otherwise, it's like, I really don't care. Flamin' Hot Cheetos. There you go. But caveat, not just any Flamin' Hot Cheetos. It has to be the puffed ones. Yeah, I don't like the crunchy ones. I like the puffed ones that basically just melt on your tongue the second that they hit it. And then the spiciness hits and just, I don't know. I guess I'm a glutton for punishment. I don't know. I freaking love those. What else? What else? Although this is like gonna sound all healthy eco hippie, I like jicama, like sliced up like as if it were carrot sticks. I swear it tastes like apples, but it's a vegetable. It's so weird, but it's really good. So I like that a lot. Um, what else do I like to snack on? Generally, I try not to snack throughout the day because I've explained this weird situation to you guys that like I don't get that hungry in general. That's why basically I eat like one meal a day, and I'm trying to work on that this year to try to force my brain to just readjust to actually eat like a normal human and eat more than just one meal in a day. um, but yeah, if I snack throughout the day, generally I won't even be hungry enough to eat all of dinner. So it's just a weird thing where I try not to, but if I do, these are kind of the go-to things, but yeah, it's strange. um, I'm sure there's other things I could answer this with, and I am just blanking hardcore. Grapes are good too, just for snacking on. So are those little what are they? Are they tangelos? Are they tangerines? The little cuties things. They come in bags of them. Those are pretty good too. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm moving on from this question. What is your favorite team? I don't follow sports. Full disclosure, at all. My mom kind of ruined those for me from like toddlerhood onward by trying to force them upon me. And just, even at that young of an age, I wanted no part of this. So yeah, my whole life, I've grown up with just a resentment of sports. I don't care if it's like baseball, football, basketball, soccer. I can't get into it. If I were the one playing one of these sports, that might be different, but just watching them, it seems like the most boring thing on the planet to me. I can't get myself into them, and being forced to sit through this crap for like hours and hours on end as a teeny little kid when I really did not want to be sitting through them just left a very bad taste in my mouth about sports in general. So I've never been into them. Um, so I mean, if I had to like pick teams, I would just go with the local ones, like the Oakland A's. If I had to pick a baseball team, just because it's been shoved down my throat my whole life that this is our local team, this is the one that you like. I'm like, I don't like any of them, but okay. Like the Oakland Raiders, I guess, for football, even though again, I don't watch it, but feeling an obligation to have an answer if asked, I guess that's the go-to, even though they're not going to be the Oakland Raiders much longer. They're moving to Las Vegas. The San Jose Sharks, I guess, for hockey. See, this is how like clueless I am, because I don't watch them. At least with hockey, I could kind of listen to it on the radio. Not that I'd ever be into it, but just listening to it on the radio is an amusing thing with that sport because everything sounds dirty. Like, I mean, I'm so immature. I giggle every time they say pee-pee shot. I'm like, ah! And it's just like, oh my god, I know what that word actually means. And no, it's not that, but I'm so immature that I'm like, that sounds dirty. um, so there's that. I guess with basketball, by default, it has to be the Golden State Warriors, even though, again, I don't watch any of these. Just full disclosure, I'm just rattling off names to rattle off names. I don't watch any of these, so yeah, there's that. That said, I was forced to play on a basketball team in second grade, and I hated every moment of it, even trying to play it. So there was that. If I had to play one, the only two sports I really had any interest in wanting to play, my parents wouldn't let me do, because they were like, no, it's too dangerous. Because I wanted to play soccer, and I wanted to play hockey. Apparently, I'm fairly decent at either one of those, just based off of gym class, but no, they wouldn't let me play on those, so makes me happy that my niece is on a soccer team at least, so there's that. But yeah, just watching them, I kind of have no interest. The only thing close to sports that I will watch. Alright, hold on, I need a sip of my coffee. Okay, only thing close to sports that I watch are figure skating, sometimes gymnastics. That's a sometimes because I used to watch it more when I was little, when I wanted to do gymnastics, but never got to do that either. But definitely was not flexible enough or coordinated enough for it, as it turns out anyway, but I didn't get to because of cost and we couldn't afford it. But I find that the like rhythmic gymnastics or like rhythmic dancing thing, in my brain, I partition that off is like dance. It's not a sport to me. That's a dance. Therefore, it's an art form. And I can hang with that. That's how I view figure skating too as well. It's ice dancing. So I'm cool with that. The second that you try to compartmentalize that as a sport, I'm out. But so I'm cool with those. And that's about it. Oh, no, I thought of one more. I can hang with watching that's technically a sport, but I don't think of it as one, but I can watch. Is in the Olympics when they have the equestrian events. I can hang with those just because I was raised around horses, so that one kind of holds an interest just because it's like, oh yeah, I used to do shit like that just on my own, not as a competitive sport, but just on my own I used to do stuff like that, so that's a thing. But other than those, yeah, I don't really watch sports. Although with the Olympics, I also commented this on Carrie's video where she did this tag. I'll watch about 2 minutes of curling just because of the Beatles movie help. Just long enough for me to go, hey look, a thingy! A fiendish thingy! And then I get bored with it and I turn it off. But yeah, and you're all like, what the hell, Jen? Out of context, that sounds completely batshit insane, but I swear to God, if you ever watched that movie, you'd know what I am talking about. It is a thing that happened. So, yeah, there's that. And up until, like, I think 2 Winter Olympics ago, I did not know that was a real sport. So, my whole life I've been watching that film, and I just assumed that they tried to invent their own sport and were just being weird. No, apparently that is a thing that exists, and it is a sport. Okay. So, there's that, but I'm not really interested in the sport. I'm more just interested in the Beatle reference, and then I lose interest like that, so that's not really watching it. But yeah, that's about as far as I will go with sports, because I just get too bored with them, because I am not a sports person, and my brain just feels resentment towards sports, so. Okay, next one. Do you prefer cats or dogs? That is a loaded question. And I know that by default, a lot of you would assume, because of my collection of kitty ears and the whole meow story thing, that I'm gonna say cats, but I'm gonna say both. Because I grew up being a cat person because I'd only ever had cats. And I still adore cats to this day, don't get me wrong. I would still love to have another cat right now, this day. I would still love to have one. But in conjunction with a dog. Because once you have had a dog, and you've experienced that unconditional love and excitement of anytime you so much as walk into a room, seeing that dog lose their shit, that, oh my god, my person is here, love on me. Especially someone with depression, that means the world to me. So I adore that. So having experienced that, I could never go back to just cats now, I don't think. I would need a dog too at the same time. Frankly, if Talia played nicer with other dogs, we'd probably have at least 2, maybe 3 dogs. All Pomeranians, but but she does not play well with others, so when she goes someday, which hopefully will be a long time from now, because I do not want to think about that day. That is going to be a very black day for me when that happens. We will no doubt be getting more dogs. Probably more of the same breed even, but yeah, just they're so lovable. And when they just love on you as hard as they do, it's impossible not to love them back 110%. So, yeah, that's why I'm like, I'd still say I love cats, but at the same time, I'm also a dog person too, so both cats and dogs. I want cats and dogs at the same time. And they can play nice together. I mean, I wouldn't want to have like a German Shepherd and a little kitty cat because I'd be afraid that it would eat it, but I mean, little dog, I mean, they're kind of the same size, so I feel like it'd be safer as long as you introduce them at the same time. Usually they're fine if you do that. I say this speaking as someone who has never actually firsthand done this, but I've known lots of people who have owned cats and dogs at the same time and had them be like the best of friends, so. Okay. Number 10, are you afraid of heights? This one's weird because as a little kid, I was never scared of heights. And with time, I have increasingly become more and more petrified of them. And I don't know what the hell happened. Just, it was like somebody flipped a switch in my brain. It has been turning up the dial to 11 ever since. But yeah, as a little kid, I was so not scared of heights. Like, when my dad was, like, redoing the roof on our old house when I was in, like, second, third grade, I was pretty little. I climbed right up there. I made my mom a nervous wreck. I not only climbed up on the roof, I friggin' did a little tap dance on the roof, because I was just like, I'm so not scared. Watch me not be scared on this roof. You're scared of this roof. I had a little sassy streak even back then, but I had no fear up there, and that was like the coolest thing, and wished we could have that ladder be there all the time, and that could just like go be my like secret safe space where like no one's, well, actually I hate the term safe space, where it could just be like my own little like me zone where no one else is, where it's just me, chill time up here, just look at the sky, yeah. Yeah, no, they did not let me do that. But had they have let me do that, I probably would have continued going right on up there. But yeah, that. But I had no fear of heights at that point. I had no fear of heights even when I had decided in my infinite wisdom to climb up the swing set that we had in our front yard, climbed up the A-frame of it, got onto the top beam of it, and I would freaking go across that thing like it was a balance beam, back and forth all the damn time. Not a problem. I did fall off at one point and hurt myself pretty badly. Didn't break any bones, but I did mess myself up pretty badly, but still wasn't scared of heights after that. Would climb on top of my sister's playhouse, climb up into a tree from the top of the playhouse. No fear at that point. I don't know how I went from that point to suddenly being so scared of heights I can't step up 3 rungs on a ladder at this point. I am not even exaggerating. I have no idea what happened. I get nervous even looking over the railing, looking downstairs from the little, like, landing outside my bedroom. It is a weird layout of our house, but if you saw the Christmas decorations video, the Nora ones, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's hard to explain it without showing it, but I can't even look straight down from that without getting nervous. I cannot walk to the edge of our balcony and look down without getting nervous. It just, I don't know what happened, but at some point I apparently became a total puss about heights. So that sucks. And when we were first putting up our big wreath at Christmas time when we moved into this house, it was going up over the entryway to the living room. It's way high up. It's like 2nd story high up for where that is. Everyone was too chicken shit to go up there to do it. So I was like, oh, I'll go up there. So I get over to the ladder, and I step up 1, I step up 2, I step up 3, and I just freeze. And I look down at the wood floor, and I'm like, this is a long way down. And that is like the exact thought I had through my head of, if I fell, that would be a really hard fall onto wood, even from right here. And there's about 9 more rungs between me and there. Nope. And I climbed back down, and I have never climbed a ladder again since then. I don't think I ever will again. I apparently am a total chicken shit about heights now. Although you have to keep in mind, when you're only 4'11", anything is heights to me. I mean, I wear heels that are too high and I get nervous. I'm like, if I fell over in these, I would probably break my ankle. I don't think I'm cool with wearing them. Yeah. It is so stupid. I'm just like, when did this happen and why? I don't think I had any particularly traumatic heights thing happen. So, I mean, other than falling off of the top of the swing set, but again, that was not the thing that did it, because I kept going up there, even beyond the day when that happened. So that wasn't it, I don't think. I don't know when it happened, I don't know why it happened, but apparently I'm scared shitless of heights today, so... Even in video games, I don't like looking off steep edges of things. And that isn't a freaking video game where I physically cannot get hurt. Only a character in a game can. That is how chicken I am now. And that's why I'm like, where did that little girl go that I used to be who freaking tap danced on the roof? where did she go? And how do I get her back? I don't know. Okay, number 11. What was the first book you ever read? I honest to God don't know. Because I was reading ridiculously early, to the point where if I were born a couple decades later, it probably would have been the first red flag of my autism. But, like, legit, no joke. 6 months old, I could identify any letter in the alphabet. Granted, I was the firstborn, and my mom put all her efforts into teaching me to read and things, but she tried this with my other siblings, and this did not happen so soon for any of the rest of them. So that should have been an indicator something's not quite right with her brain. I mean, it's not a bad thing that she's reading way early, but that's also not normal. But yeah, like, doctor didn't believe it till my mom demonstrated and pointed to various letters. I don't know what it was. She's told me this story before. I mean, obviously I don't consciously remember it, but I've heard the story enough times to where she said that she held up something with letters on it, and I went ahead and I was saying the letters that she was pointing to, and she did them out of order, so it wasn't like a memorization thing. Could I sing the song at that point? No, but if she pointed to a letter, I could identify it. I couldn't sing the song till I was about 2, so. But, apparently, by age 2, I was reading words to the point where she could pick up even, like, a grown-up magazine, and I could read any word in there. Like, she picked up, like, Cosmopolitan, and I was, like, reading everything from it, just about. There was, like, very few exceptions. I could identify even what all the punctuations were called. Yeah, so that's admittedly not normal, but I'm still proud of it, so. I'm freaking retarded when it comes to numbers, but reading, I mean, apparently that's my shit, so. But yeah, I have no idea what the first book I ever read was. I don't think, if someone else read it to me, I don't think that counts. But, first one I read, not a clue. Because apparently I was just reading everything from so early on that I don't think my parents even know. And even in that, like, book where my mom tried to, like, write down all the milestones, I don't think that one was filled in because I don't think she knew either, so. I guess that'll be a mystery. I know what my favorite books as a little kid were, but that doesn't tell us what the first one was. Because, I mean, I freaking adored the Eloise books, which, once again, irony of ironies, that I would grow up to be a Liza Minnelli fan and learn that those books were written about her. It's just like, I swear to God, all of my fandoms tie together to something in my life every damn time. But and the book Mandy, I freaking adored the shit out of, and apparently it's written by Julie Andrews, and I didn't know until I was adult that that was the same Julie Andrews as that Julie Andrews, because it's credited to Julie Andrews Edwards. So I just thought it was somebody with a similar name, but I never thought it was her. Although, fun fact, you know how most people, like, when you read something, like, you hear it in your own voice? I'm in the very small minority who the voice I hear read it is not my own. It's freaking Julie Andrews, and it always has been, and it's not a conscious thing I try to do. It just is. And always has been. And I don't know why. So, reading certain materials gets very awkward very quickly because of that. Yeah, I mean, it's not a mental illness thing, just it's a phenomena that only a very small percentage of people have, and apparently I'm in that percentage, so. Yeah, I don't know why it's her voice, but it actually took me until I was about 8 years old to realize that that's the voice I hear when I read things. Even though I was very familiar with Mary Poppins way before that and other movies she's in, so I don't know. So, I mean, the accent isn't even my own, so that makes it even more curious, but it is what it is. So, okay, let's see here. What is your favorite genres of music? Well, obviously, you know, classic rock is, like, my go-to, but, also big band and swing music is my other big go-to, and always has been as well. Like, those also probably should have been a sign that I was not a normal little kid, that both of those I freaking adored from, like, age 3 onward, although Beatles was day 1 for me, because my mom did the headphones on the stomach, and yeah, apparently that one stuck. Other ones she tried didn't work. That one did, though. That one and the Monkees both worked. To the point where I even had the same monkey as her, as the favorite monkey, but that one didn't take until later, whereas Beatles was immediate. Monkeys took until my teens for that one to go ding. But yeah, no, so classic rock, like Sinatra era swing music, big band music, some Broadway, not all. I clarify this because most modern Broadway is like everything from Rent onwards just sounds like the same thing as far as I'm concerned. So I feel like Rent is the worst thing that ever happened in musical theater. Unpopular opinion. I'm very sorry. I'm not trying to step on your toes. That is just my opinion. Yeah, so I mean, stuff from before that I freaking love. Revivals of things from before that I love, but most modern shows, not so much. There's a few exceptions to the rule that I do, but most things beyond that point, eh. But, yeah, those are my go-to genres. I mean, there's certain things outside those realms that I also like, but those are just genre-wise the ones that I go to. Okay. What was your favorite subject in school? Well, had I ever have been allowed to take an art class, it probably would have been that, but I actually, truth be told, never took an art class. So, with that in mind, computers was always popular with me, surprise, surprise, from pretty much day one. Made sense. My dad used to build computers. He had his own small company called Axis Computers, which, if you've heard of it now, the current iteration of it is not his. He sold it to the current people who have it that blew it up into the huge thing it is now, but yeah, he no longer has anything to do with that, unfortunately. As much as I'd like to say he did, all he did was sell the company to the people that now own it. But, so that was no doubt why just naturally my brain gravitated towards computers, because I already had, like, the base knowledge from him, both observing and what he taught me, like, really, really early on. It just always clicked for me. So there was that. Even though it was a joke of a guitar class, I'm gonna say guitar because I still enjoyed it, but they didn't teach us much because the only teacher who was teaching guitar that year was the choir teacher, who didn't really know what she was doing when it came to guitar, and I don't fault her for it. She tried. She's a good teacher otherwise for choir. I love her as a person. She was great with my siblings for choir. I never took choir, but yeah, guitar, she was just lacking, and if it weren't for that, there wouldn't have even been a guitar class that year, so I can't complain too much, but literally all she did, she taught us to read a chord chart, and basically told us to have a nice day, and kind of split for the rest of the semester, so admittedly didn't learn too much. That's why I never learned to fingerpick, and kind of learned bad habits early on, that when you don't have somebody teaching you the correct ways in the formative stages, when you're learning something like that, good luck breaking them. There are certain bad habits I'm still to this day trying to break with that this many years later, and that's like over half my lifetime ago, so they're probably not going to get broken. That's why my attempts at playing guitar are very simplistic compared to other people's who actually know what they're doing. Maybe at some point I'll take proper lessons and try to retrain my brain, but just on my own, yeah, that. But I still enjoyed it, and even long after I took that class, I was still carrying my guitar with me everywhere at school, even though I had no legit good reason to. I just wanted to. It made me feel safer. It was kind of my security blanket in high school. That's so stupid to say. Hell, I even used to sleep with that guitar on my bed and would, like, hug it in my sleep. I am not even joking. I don't do that anymore. But when I was, like, 14 and 15, no freaking joke, that is a thing I did. So, yeah, and then when I eventually got an electric guitar, I tried with that, but it was so much smaller that I was like, this is awkward and uncomfy, and I don't like this, and I don't really think I should be doing this. It's kind of weird, isn't it? So I stopped doing that. But anyway, so there was that. I always liked English because I was always good at it, so unsurprisingly. I mean, especially with the reading end of it, was great with it. Always been pretty decent at writing. I wouldn't say I'm a great writer, but I'm decent at it. Other than that, though, kind of just always hated even being at school, since my formative years in elementary school were a frigging joke, because apparently I should have been able to be promoted grades because I was so far ahead of where I should have been, with the exception of math. And yet, because I was in a private school, they wanted to fleece as much tuition money out of the parents, so they did not believe in promoting grades, even if the kid very much showed every sign that they should be. I was even told, or I personally wasn't told, but my parents were told, I should have been about 3 grades ahead of what I was actually in. So, with that in mind, given they didn't let me do it, everything felt really patronizing and like it was being dumbed down. So I hit a point where I just stopped trying, especially the day when I found out that, this school literally won't fail anyone. Even if you do nothing, they'll just skate you through with a D minus so they can keep getting tuition money, because apparently one kid's parents sued the school for failing their kid and wanting to hold them back, so then they just stopped the practice of ever holding a kid back even if they needed it. So I just stopped trying, and I kind of wish I hadn't, because that kind of set the precedent for like the rest of my school career. So I have to wonder how differently I would have turned out if I had just been put in public school from day one. For one, the other kids probably wouldn't have been nearly so snotty. I mean, the kids there were freaking rotten. You would think for the amount of money people pay to send their kids there, that it would have been a great experience. Yeah, no, it was a hellhole, and the teachers, like, one flat out admitted that the teachers in a public, or not in a public school, the teachers in that private school were rejects from the public school. It's like, wow. Thanks, though. Thanks for freaking telling us that. And knowing that our entire education here, or lack thereof, is a freaking joke, but okay. So, I tried to do my own self-education on topics of interest that I thought one day would come in useful, that I don't think ever really did, because I honest to God thought I was gonna grow up, go to college, and be a doctor, so I literally memorized medical textbooks as a little kid at like 7 years old. Like, word for word memorized, cover to cover, because I honest to God thought that's what I was gonna grow up to do, and I thought that was what you needed to do. And then I never did that. So I have all this freaking useless knowledge that occasionally comes in handy for other people, but for the most part, not so much. It's kind of just useless knowledge. I tried to do the same thing with the encyclopedia sets. Wasn't able to memorize them cover to cover, but I did read them cover to cover. And I tried with the dictionary. Yeah, that one, I mean, obviously, that's not exactly that interesting, so that one, I tried, but, yeah, I can't claim that one, so, anyway. But yeah, I don't think there were any other really, like, favorite subjects. I mean, science was kind of cool, but that was mostly just because of the teacher, because she was my favorite teacher there. And as soon as she became, like, one of the main core teachers there, and there was a new science teacher, I freaking hated science at that point. So I think it had more to do with the teacher than the subject, but anyway. Next question. Do you have any tattoos? No, I do not. Nor do I think I will realistically ever have one. Not out of fear, not out of not wanting one, but because with my weird chemical sensitivities and allergies and things, I feel like I'd be in that minority whose skin will reject the ink, or that I will have a reaction to the ink and not be able to get it out and then be stuck in a perpetual state of ultra sensitization, and I don't dare because of that. So, but if I were going to, I've said it for years, I would get John Lennon's self-portrait on one ankle, and then, more recently, after learning that this is a thing, the semicolon on my other ankle, because of the semicolon project, where, actually, speaking of Carrie, this was actually part of her answer for this one too, but differently for her, but the semicolon project is for people who've dealt with depression, suicidal, either thoughts or attempts, eating disorders, self-harm, all of the above apply to me. But yeah, basically where your life could have ended in a period, you chose to continue on, and it was just a semicolon, but you continued onward. And that is very poignant to me, and it means a lot to me. I just don't realistically think my body can take tattooing, so I don't actually have one, but if I were going to, it would probably be that, the John Lennon thing on my ankles, because I feel like if ever I were to be in a job situation where you can't have visible tattoos, that's easy to cover up, but in other situations it's also easy to show. So there's that. I'm very weird about my wrists, because that is one place I never self-harmed. Ever. Like, you can see there is no scars here. I used to on my legs, but, on my upper legs. Ironically, that's not where I would get them. I've heard it is actually incredibly painful to get tattoos over scars. It's why I never turned the one on this arm into a butterfly, even though you can see this would be like the perfect middle of a butterfly because it kind of looks like a caterpillar anyway. But I've heard it's actually really, really painful, and since that never healed right, and it's still kind of painful to touch it like this many years later, and that's been there since I was 14. Yeah, I don't dare. That would be like my other one that I would do if I were going to, but I'm not going to. But hypothetically speaking, if I were going to, yeah. So there'd be that. I dabbled with the ideas of a few others over the years of what I would get, but as more time went on, I'm like, nah, I don't think so. Because at one point I figured as I got older, my arms would get bigger around, like beefed up, but then they never did. They're just these wimpy little girly arms. I figured I would like get like a vertical Union Jack on my arm with the Who's logo over it, and then like a tattered looking scroll going across the bottom of it that reads in like old English typeface like Long Live Rock. But with skinny little girly arms, that would look really bad, so scrap that idea. But if it weren't for that, if I had bigger round arms, I probably would like the idea of it. But again, moot point, because I don't believe I'm ever actually getting tattoos, but if I were going to, I like the idea of that. I also considered, before I knew it's painful to get tattoos across scars, that and also, I've also decided this would look really trashy now as an adult, but at 14 years old, I thought it'd look really cool to have the yellow submarine across right here. But, yeah, as an adult, I'm like, no, I don't think so. That would be really just not good to have there. If anywhere, maybe as a tramp stamp back here, but not here. But again, actually, yellow is the hardest ink color with tattoos to get to stay, so you would have to be constantly updating that thing. And I'm like, yeah, no, if I were gonna get a tattoo, it'd have to be like black so that I'd just do it like the one time and have to hopefully never worry about it again. Although I know even that's probably not the reality of it. You probably still have to have them touched up. And that's another reason why the Union Jack one just would not work, so it would require multiple colors. So yeah, that. I feel like there was a couple others. My cousin has a really cool one across her shoulder blades that looks like something I would have designed. It's got a bird cage on one side with an, like over here, and it goes across to the other side. And it's got a blackbird flying out of it, like on a swoopy line. And then in like cursive, it's got blackbird singing in the dead of night, take these broken wings and learn to fly, written under it. Which I think is so freaking cool. And makes me wish that much more that my body would, for certain, handle such chemicals being put into it without problem. Just, I don't trust it. My body can't even take an Advil without having a severe allergic reaction, so tattooing, probably not ever gonna agree with me, so, and something permanent like that, without there being a way to really test it without it being permanent and then being stuck with it if I do have a reaction. I mean, yes, I know there's like the laser tattoo removal, but does that really break up the chemicals they put in? That's my point. So, like I said, probably never actually gonna happen, but idea-wise, I have lots of ideas of things that would look really cool, just in reality, probably never, ever, 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 ever gonna happen. I think at one point I even wanted, like, the ruby slippers on, like, the top side of my foot, but in hindsight, that seems kind of dumb, too. But, yeah, that. I considered for a while, what if I got some sort of tattoo to cover the scars on my thighs, but again, have learned that that would be very painful, first off, and secondly, what would you even put there that wouldn't look really, really trashy? Yeah, that. I mean, it's really, really pathetically sad of why that was even the place where I used to do that. I mean, one, I knew somewhere nobody would see, and two, it was like I was basically punishing my legs for them not being able to stay shut hard enough to stop sexual abuse from happening. Yeah, that. I will probably at some point in time make a video more talking about that. I keep dipping my toes in the water thinking maybe I'm ready to finally talk about it publicly, and then I start to go like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. So that's as much as we're going into it today, but yeah, that was why that was my location for that. But yeah, I think those are really the only tattoo ideas that I ever like hardcore thought about maybe doing. The Sgt. Pepper drum logo seemed cool, but it also seemed very detailed, like it would take a lot of time to do and be very painful, so probably not. Obviously, if I ever had like a celebrity like autograph me somewhere, I'd probably have that tattooed in, because otherwise you lose it as soon as you shower, which would really suck. But that's why I personally wouldn't choose to get one on me, but you know, it is what it is. So anyway, 2 questions left. What is your best physical feature? I don't really like any of my features, but if I were forced to pick, probably my eyes, even though they're not that great, but they're still better than anything else on my face, and in certain lightings, they look like they're different colors, and one of them is legit a little bit lighter of a shade than the other one. From a distance, it's not so prominent, but up close, you can kind of tell this one's a little bit lighter than that one. So they're kind of cool that way. I think they're interesting, if nothing else. When I have, like, mascara on, they really do pop a bit and look kind of nice. So I guess I'm kind of okay with my eyes. I used to hate them because they weren't blue, and I just thought that was the epitome of pretty eyes, but playing with Photoshop, I've found out that I apparently would look really creepy with blue eyes, so I guess I'm glad that I don't have them. But I still feel like emerald green would be really pretty, but my eyes are too sensitive to handle contacts. I tried one time when I was getting glasses and they asked if I wanted contacts, but they make you test to see if your eyes can handle them. Mine cannot, so moot point, but I still feel like I'd look really cool with green eyes, but never gonna happen. But I've gotten to a point of acceptance where it's like, you know, maybe my eyes, even as is, aren't so terrible. I guess they're okay. So I guess I like my eyes. And if we're not just talking about facial features, if we're talking about anything, I've come to accept that, you know, the shape of my legs isn't that bad. They're kind of okay. I guess I'm kind of proud of them, because I find that, yeah, if I wear, like, dark tights over them, the actual shape of my legs is actually pretty decent. And I have had many compliments from both genders, by the way, on how nice my legs are. So I was like, well, there's probably something to this. So there's not a lot of things on me that I like, but that actually is one thing where it's like, you know, I am kind of proud of those. So just saying. But yeah, anything else, I'm just like, I don't have much to look at here. I don't have much of a waist. My face isn't that great. My arms are kind of fat, but my legs, though. My legs are kind of okay. So I guess there's that. I have good legs, and I have okay eyes. I guess that's the best I got to offer, so. And the last question, what is your biggest accomplishment? This question was the one of why I didn't do this tag sooner, because I felt like I haven't accomplished shit. But Carrie's answer was survival and not killing herself. I was like, actually, you know, that's a really good answer. That actually is an excellent answer, is still being here. And frankly, I mean, health-wise, it's kind of, it defies all logic that I'm still here. So, I mean, I could have been gone, like, within my first month of being born, like that. Because I caught, like, a cold, like, within my first week that turned into bronchitis, like, borderline pneumonia, and almost took me out that fast. And I've had nothing but health problems my entire damn life. Some much worse than others. And I've nearly died a shit ton of times, and yet I am still here. So I feel like there's gotta be a reason for that I'm still here. And that, on top of that, with my mental illnesses, I have had suicide attempts. And I'm still here. So, you know, there's something to be said that obviously higher power is saying, yeah, no, not your time yet. You are meant to still be there. And so I am. I don't know what the reason is, but apparently there is definitely a reason I'm still here, and just the fact that I am, that kind of is an accomplishment in and of itself. That I'm still here and relatively more or less okay at this point in time. I mean, knock wood that other bad things don't start up again, but I think that does count. I think it counts anyway. I mean, other people probably have much cooler answers for this one, but this is what I got, and frankly, I think that's enough. I mean, it'd be really cool if I accomplished something really cool in my lifetime that ends up becoming a really big accomplishment, but I don't think it's happened yet. And I don't think that means that I'm not going to have one. I just think it hasn't happened yet. I feel like I'm kind of on the cusp of something finally working out. I don't know what, but I feel like something, like some sort of floodgates are about to open and something's going to click and something's finally going to work and pan out into some sort of accomplishment. I don't know what it is yet. I mean, I'd love to say that it's my art, but it's probably not that, but I'd love to say it were, but I don't think it's that, but just instinctively, I feel like there is something big coming. I just wish I knew what it were. But I mean, my gut instincts usually aren't wrong, so I'd like to believe that there is definitely something big coming up that will be a major accomplishment. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So, anyways, we made it through all 16 questions in an hour's time. I'm so sorry for taking this long to go through all of them. I always just kind of babble on way longer than I should. You guys know this. If you're subscribed to this channel, you definitely know this. If you made it all the way through this video, I thank you so very much for sitting through all of it. You definitely deserve a gold star, because I doubt many people did. Most people probably got really bored and left long before this point, or probably skipped through it just for the interesting bits. But anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up and post it. So, as usual, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you're not already and you'd like me, click subscribe, leave comments down below. If you do this tag, let me know down in the comments so I can go check out your answers. And make sure you're following me on social media. The accounts are listed down below. And if you like what I do here on this channel and you'd like to help support it, the donation links, as always, are in the description. Anyway, guys, till next time.